Or there we'll cast away. I hope everyone has strapped in because today we are going over your and mine unpopular skincare and beauty opinions. I asked for these on my Instagram. I actually posted my own unpopular opinion, which we'll go over first in this list of opinionated responses, and I am living for it. I think that beauty and skincare is never a one size fits all. I think that people like to think that their opinion is fact. It never is, ever. And I also think that people are allowed to have preferences within their skincare and beauty routine, regardless of fact, if that makes sense. For example, I know that mineral and chemical sunscreens are similar in a lot of ways. I just saw a video of someone saying, mineral's no better than chemical, especially like you think you're better if you use mineral. No one said that. I am allowed to have a preference as a person who uses and purchases beauty products, and I prefer mineral regardless of the facts. Of course, I know, what's going on behind the scenes. I don't need to explain myself. You understand what I'm saying. Just realized my lights are off. Watch this. So part of the reason why I wanted to do this video is to show you that it's okay if you like something that no one else likes, or if you feel like you're the only person who has this opinion. You're not alone, and also do you. Do what is best for you, regardless of what you may see online. Obviously, wear your sunscreen, wash your face, but outside of that, what you like and what you do is completely up to you, and quite frankly, it's no one else's business. This is actual tea. It looks a little suspect, but it is green tea because we will be spilling so much of it today. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Rudi. I post 2 videos a week. We talk about skincare, beauty, acne, vlogging, we kind of do it all, and I would love to have you subscribe. Okay, let's start with the one that kind of started it all, which was my opinion, which is most chemical sunscreens feel and look the exact same. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me on that, but truly, I feel like I have tried so many, and they all feel, smell, look, rub in the exact same, and they all feel like sunscreen. And what's funny? They all feel like sunscreen you wear at the beach. And I know that that sounds weird because I think most people would say, no, mineral sunscreen is what you would apply at the beach, that like white layer of zinc on your face. But I think the reason that I think of chemical sunscreens as beach sunscreens are because body sunscreen is typically chemical. The one that you spray and like the super lightweight Neutrogena body sunscreen that I use is chemical. So I kind of just associate chemical sunscreens with like being out and being at the beach, which I think is kind of why I think they all feel the same. They're all thin, liquidy, watery, sink into the skin, irritate my skin, except for the Neutrogena one. And none of them have a white cast. I know. I'm sure you could prove me wrong, but this is my opinion. And I'm not gonna die on this hill. I'm sure I'll try one eventually that I don't feel like that about, but for the most part, they're all the same. Oh, also I wanted to mention, I love my makeup look today. Let me zoom you in. The blush that I'm wearing is $3. This is the Wet n Wild blush in Peach Bums, and this is a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Peachgasm blush, which went viral on TikTok, completely sold out. Identical in color, completely different feel on the face, and I will kind of let you know about the wear time in the future, but so far, it's stunning. If you have big pores or you have active acne on your cheeks, I would not recommend it. It's quite shiny, but if you want something that's basically a highlighter and a blush in one, for $3. Back to the video. Okay, here is the first submission. Your $100 product isn't any better than my drugstore always. Totally agree with this. I don't necessarily think that's unpopular either. There are good and bad things at the drugstore and at Sephora and high-end, and I think a lot of it has to do with your connection to the product or why you purchased it or what you feel about it. For example, we just talked about this blush that I'm wearing. This is $3 and it is a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury product, which is probably $40 if I had to guess. Although they give you the same effect, they are completely different formulas. The product and the packaging is completely different. I very much prefer the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wand packaging because it is more luxurious, and I prefer the formula even though it's the same look. So it's really just about what you prefer and what your budget is, but I totally agree. I mean, you guys know my skincare is mostly drugstore and I like it. I don't notice a huge difference between those two. Where I do sometimes is with makeup products. So I do agree with you, but again, I think it's all preference. Okay, next one. Physical sunscreens are so drying, especially for a dry-skinned person who's surplus a retinoid user. I think they're just trying to say physical sunscreens, mineral sunscreens are drying on the skin. I don't agree with this. I've had amazing luck with very hydrating sunscreens that have a zinc formula. For example, the Beekman sunscreen. I'm actually going to do a full video on my favorite sunscreens, and pretty much all of them except for one, the Neutrogena, are mineral because I prefer mineral. They feel better on my sensitive skin, and it's kind of been my mission to find really good ones. But I totally understand why you may feel that way, considering a lot of the physical and mineral sunscreens out there and in the past have been super white and chalky, and they don't feel good on the skin. Let me change this opinion for you. Stick around for my SPF video, and I think I could change your mind. Next is an unpopular makeup opinion. Sharp black wing liquid eyeliner needs to go. Okay, I don't agree with this for the public and the mass, but for me, 100%. I do not look good in eyeliner of any sort. I used to constantly wear black winged eyeliner like in high school, and because that's all I knew was like, okay, a black wing every day. And looking back, it just it's not for me. I'm honestly not sure what my eye shape is. Someone tell me. Are they round? I know I have hooded eyes, which makes doing a wing so freaking hard. It's almost impossible. And I know you can do the shape that like goes in and goes out and all this stuff, but I don't want to do that. It's too much work. I just would rather like throw one shadow all over my lid, put on mascara, and call it a day. So I think that wings look amazing on a lot of people, but you're right, girl, they're not for me. They are not for me. You don't really have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours if you're indoors. I think that the sunscreen the sunscreen community has just gotten so out of control on TikTok and on YouTube and frankly everywhere about, I don't know how to explain it, people feeling like they're better than other people because they apply sunscreen every 2 hours. Here's the truth in the data on sunscreen. About 11% of Americans wear sunscreen daily. That's it. So I am way more concerned about trying to find sunscreens that people feel comfortable with wearing at all. And then I'm like, okay, once we get a good portion of the population wearing sunscreen daily, then we can kind of tackle the other things that people get pissed off about, like wearing a quarter of a teaspoon, reapplying to every 2 hours. I try not to focus and harp on those things so much, even though I know that that's how it should be, because there are so many people so far from that we need to get them here first, and then we'll kind of talk about the rest. That was a tangent, but I do agree. You really don't need to apply sunscreen every 2 hours if you're indoors. I personally do not apply sunscreen every 2 hours unless I am outside. That's just my personal preference. I don't think it's necessary if you're indoors all day. Obviously, reapplication is important if you are incredibly fair, you have skin cancer that runs in your family, or you're going to be exposed to light for a long, long time outside. This is just my personal opinion. Everybody, has a different feeling on how often they like to apply sunscreen. But I say if you are using it at all, even just once in the morning, you are literally doing more than 90% of the population, so good job. I don't see the hype for vitamin C. Okay. You are not alone in that. A lot of people do not like vitamin C because it is so irritating. And honestly, I'm pretty much the same way. I'm not a huge vitamin C person. The only vitamin C that I have used and had luck with is not actually a vitamin C. It's the Golden Booster from Beekman 1802. I actually talked about it in my 18-month tretinoin video, which I can link up above, where I'm kind of just talking about the things that I've added into my routine that I've found work within my tretinoin routine without adding too much extra irritation. And one of them is this Golden Booster that is a vitamin C alternative. It's better for sensitive skin, and it also mixes in with your moisturizer, so you're kind of buffering it even further. But I agree, I think vitamin C is great for people who maybe don't have acne but are looking to brighten any dark spots, melasma they may have, or past acne marks. But if you also want to do that and you're dealing with your acne, stick with retinol. Like retinol, retin-A's, tretinoin, prescription strength retin-A's, they're gonna do more for you in the long run than using a vitamin C, and they're both irritating in their own way. I think it just kind of depends on what you want, but I totally agree. Vitamin C, I'm not saying it's overhyped because I know it works for a lot of people, but for sensitive skin people, I would honestly skip it. The next one really got me in the heart. Benzoyl peroxide helps more with acne than tretinoin. no. Obviously, it clearly has worked for you in that way, so I totally understand. For me, no. I tried benzoyl peroxide. I used it as a teen. I overused it. It's so finicky, and it's so funny I'm saying that because like obviously tretinoin is incredibly finicky as well, and I think it's just a matter of like making sure you have the right routine for either of those products and how often you use them, what strength, like how they're incorporated into your routine to make them work. Benzoyl peroxide works amazingly for people, especially people who are dealing with bacterial acne. I actually use it on my pits as a mask, and it does an amazing job. Also use it for body acne, but tretinoin does more in the long run for your acne because it's actually turning over the cells in your skin faster, which is literally keeping you from creating more acne, whereas benzoyl peroxide is fighting a problem. I think they both work incredibly well for different people, but I have to disagree. I think that tretinoin is the queen of acne care. All right, I totally agree with this one. Hyaluronic acid is overrated. I have not had the best luck with dedicated hyaluronic acid serums. I've tried a few. I've tried the one from Osea, I've tried the one from Neutrogena, and I don't know. I think that glycerin and hyaluronic acid are usually in most of your moisturizers already. So I kind of learned that from Dr. Dre a long time ago, that I just use my Hydro Boost Extra Dry Skin on my wet skin, and it does a similar effect, except for it also has those moisturizing properties, and it has some silicones to lock that in, so it's not just escaping from my face. I've not had luck with it, and also I feel like every time I use hyaluronic acid, my skin gets really irritated, and I know that that's common. James Welsh also deals with that, and I think it's because it's sucking that water and you have to trap it really quickly. It's just too much work for me. I would rather use something that has it included already than a dedicated serum. That's just me. I know that people love the Vichy one, and I'm like tempted to try it, but again, why? I don't need to extend my routine and make it any longer than it already is. Like truly, it's getting out of hand at this point. I'm trying to keep it small. So I would agree. I think hyaluronic acid is overrated. It was very trendy at one point, and now I'm like, let's move on. Okay, this one, honey, we need to talk. I always, since over 20 years ago, curl my lashes after mascara to make the curls hold. Wink, never issues. Oh, that's so scary. You know who else does that? Emily Noel, who is like one of my favorite OG YouTubers. She does a little bit of a curl afterwards because her lashes are like straight. Oh, that's so scary to me. I could never do it because I like my lashes. They're quite long. However, they do grow straight out. So what I would recommend instead, and something that I'm doing next weekend, next Saturday, God, for the first time in like a year, I'm getting a lash lift and tint. So basically they chemically curl your lashes, and it sticks for like about 6 weeks. It's amazing, especially for vacations or summertime when you really don't want to wear a lot of makeup. And then I also get them tinted, even though my eyelashes are already black. It just adds a little bit of oomph to your face when you have no makeup on. It's incredible, which I know it's a little bit expensive, but over time, it's better than having your eyelashes fall out from curling after you put your mascara on. That scares me because I think that the stickiness of the mascara is gonna get stuck to the curler and pull your eyelashes out. Another trick that I've heard is putting your mascara in your bra and heating up your curler and doing that beforehand, and then you have like, basically you curled your eyelashes with a curling iron. I like a physical exfoliant every once in a while, like when getting a facial. Totally. I don't think that physical exfoliants are literally the worst thing in the world. In fact, there are a few that I like. Pharmacy has one that is like a rice polish, and it turns into just a regular face wash when you get it wet, but it gives you a little bit of that light, gentle physical exfoliant, especially if you're someone on tretinoin and you're dealing with dry skin. I think one of the best ways to handle that is to use a washcloth or a soft muslin cloth and kind of buff away any of that dead skin while you're in the shower. Just super light, nothing too crazy. I think that physical scrubs have been villainized because of like the St. Ives scrub and shit like that, which I think I would agree. Like, you don't want to use like a walnut scrub on your face. It can cause micro tears in your skin, which can cause infection. It's not a good thing, but I think that a light physical exfoliant from time to time is a good way to lift dead skin without having to use a chemical exfoliant, which might irritate you if you are on a prescription strength medication. So I don't disagree with this. Okay, the last one is about makeup, and they say that using a dry sponge is way better. No. Using a wet beauty blender is elite. It is the best way to apply your makeup, especially if you're looking for like that natural, glowy, very like airbrush look. You want to go with a wet brush. In fact, I was thinking about my fails video where I'm talking about the Juno & Co sponge, and no matter what you did, every time you tried to get it wet, it still looked dry and cakey. And that's the vibe I get from using a dry sponge. Using a dry sponge on my face, it gives me like icky vibes. Like, you know, when you use something and the texture is off, that's me with a dry beauty blender. Like, I just have to go in with a wet sponge. I feel like it makes everything look so smooth and seamless, especially on your base layer. It's a different story with like blush and bronzer and highlighter, but your coverage, a dry sponge is absolutely not it. It's not it. I know people will disagree with me on that. That's fine. Again, we all have our preferences, but a wet sponge is life changing. Obviously, you need to wash it a lot. If it's dry or it's wet, you need to keep it clean. Otherwise, your acne is going to hate you for it. But disagree, dry sponges are not where it's at. This was really fun. This was really, really fun. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at the Rudi Berry. I do polls like this all the time. In fact, I was just doing a poll about, basically I'm trying to rank all of the hotties, all of the men in Grey's Anatomy. Obviously right now McDreamy is in first place, and then Steamy, and then probably DeLuca. No, Avery, and then DeLuca, and Riggs is at the very bottom. I need to put in Ben Warren. I have so much to do. Like I said, stick around. In the next few weeks, we're gonna talk about my favorite SPFs, especially right in time for summer. I can't wait to see you guys then, and I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.